I'm sure that, like me, you've encountered your fair share of trolls online. And I've often wondered what the most amazing, successful, effective way of dealing with trolls is. And I just found out, and I'm going to share it with you on this episode of the VO Heroes podcast. We as actors and voice talent are part of an amazingly supportive community, for the most part. Go to your local theater, join a cast, work on television, work in film, go to a studio. Everybody's nice to each other. Everybody's supportive. What can I do to help? How can I help? In that particular setting, we are among the nicest, most awesome people on the planet. And yet, when you add in a dash of anonymity and facelessness, being online, you all of a sudden find people turning into complete asses and trolling on purpose because it gives them some feeling of superiority, or it lets them exhibit what little humor they think they have. Who knows why they do it? But one thing is clear, and that is that they do it again and again and again. And that leads me to think, okay, it's hard to deal with these people. How do you deal with these people? Why do they do that? And it turns out that both of those questions can be answered by science. Okay, so I'm listening to this podcast called The Huberman Lab by Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is, let me get this title right, Stanford Professor of Neurobiology and Ophthalmology. And he investigates all these things about how our mind and our bodies interact. And I've been listening to the podcast because I've been very interested in sleep hygiene and trying to get better with my health and trying to get better with how my mind and my body interact, if at all. And I just find all these gems in his podcast. So here's what happened. I was following him on Twitter and I was listening to the podcast. And as I was listening to it, I realized he was sharing something that we can all use when we encounter trolls online. He was talking about the dopamine hit that these trolls get and how to shut that off. So I'm going to quote his words directly. In the tweet, he said, understand, quote, reward prediction error, and you will never reply to a negative comment again. Negative comments open a dopamine anticipation loop for the troll. In the commenter, respond and the circuit closes. They get rewarded. Don't respond, and their dopamine will eventually drop below baseline. So, you know that phrase, don't feed the trolls? Have you ever seen that before? I mean, people talk about it all the time, and it's really hard to do because when somebody insults you or somebody like really pokes at you or calls you names or disparages your parents, whatever, you want to respond. You want to defend yourself. You want to defend them. You want to defend your situation. And I encounter this a lot because I have this habit of letting you know what I think and giving advice. And there are people who don't like that I do that, and they don't like my answers, or maybe they don't care about my answers. I'm just an easy target. So I've often used the process of kill them with kindness. So I will respond with, oh, kind of a bless your heart kind of thing. And there's a little bit of passive aggressiveness in that. But when you look at this whole concept of reward prediction error and dopamine anticipation loops, you can instantly do something that is the easiest thing in the world to do, and apparently the most effective thing in the world to do, and that's absolutely nothing. And that ties into the whole notion of don't feed the trolls. If you don't respond, they don't get the reaction that they're hoping for. They're disappointed, and there's nothing they can do. It's not like they can say, what's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Because that sounds stupid. They can't put another reply and another comment under their already, obvious comment. And I look at this in general and I go, okay, simple to do. simple to do, not simple to institute because of that emotional urge that you have to get even or to defend or to not let them get one on you or to not let the attack go unmet, right? So if you can manage to do that, you can make life in all of those Facebook groups that spend time, the old timers spend time going, have you looked in the file section? Have you used the search function? I mean, if you've been in some of the audiobook narrator groups that are open to members of the community and posed a question as a new member or as a new narrator, you're taking your life into your hands. And this is something you can use everywhere, not just in our groups and in our areas on social media or in life. You just don't have to respond. And if you do that, you're really digging the knife in to a troll because they're not getting that energy, that dopamine that they want from getting a reaction from you. Now, the question is this something you could possibly try to do? Because I know it's the overwhelming urge to get even. How do you react? How do you feel, first of all, when trolls do things to you online? How do you handle those things? What kind of things do you say or type? Do you look to be creative? And is it possible that you might institute this, which is doing nothing and knowing that you're really, really hurting the troll in the process? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. If you're watching this on social media, note that I'm not trolling you, but I would love for you to subscribe to whatever channel you're on, or to refer to another actor or voice talent if you think this might help them. Hit the like button relatively easily so that you can use the like button to like one of my future podcast episodes. And give us a comment over on voheroes.com. That's where this conversation is nice and sane. We would love to have you over there. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I will see you in the next episode of the VO Heroes podcast.